how can we make community-based midwifery care more accessible and mainstream here in the States, especially when medical providers can be very patronizing towards both CPMs and CNMs?
It's a very, very difficult thing to do. All right. Their lobby is big and strong. Midwives have either no lobby or a tiny little lobby. Politicians don't know anything. All right. I don't mean that as a negative. They just don't know anything. All right. Most politicians are lawyers or businessmen. They don't know this stuff. So they take their advice from who? From the people with the biggest lobby, who give the most campaign contributions. And that's the California, in my state, that's the California Medical Association and the American College of OBGYN. And they are an industrial lobby for their profession. And their job is not to do what's best for the women of California. Their job is to do what's best for their members. Yeah. And often their members are more the people in academia and big in medicine, like the big foundations like Kaiser and those sorts of things, as opposed to the small practitioners. We don't really have any representation either. So it's going to be very hard to do it that way. It's going to have to come from rallies and pressure and people running for office who have this as part of their mission. And the problem, of course, is that the passion that most women feel for this is when they're pregnant or having a baby. And then after that, who has time?
Yeah.
Who has time to become, a lobbyist or an activist or an advocate for birth choices? I mean, you get small people, but you can't compete with the money that big medicine has. So it's going to be very difficult to get laws changed in certain states. And when they do, the medical lobby usually will exact its pound of flesh anyway, like what happened in 2014 here in California, where licensed midwives got autonomy. They didn't need supervision anymore. But for that, they had to exchange breeches, twins, anything under 37 weeks, anything over 42 weeks. The idea that a midwife now in California has to abandon her client if she's not in labor at 41 weeks at midnight on the 42nd week day, whatever that is, or that if she's in labor at 36 weeks and 5 days, that she now has to abandon that client, is so stupid.
Yeah, that's crazy.
By the way, one of my major tenets I want your listeners to know, because they don't listen to me regularly, is that anytime somebody espouses a perfectly even number for something, they're lying. So in other words, 37 weeks is a lie, 42 weeks is a lie, 6 feet apart is a lie, age 35 is a lie, 24 hours of ruptured membranes is a lie. Nature doesn't work that way. Right. Nature doesn't work with perfect numbers. So they're just rounding things. Even when I even prefaced the numbers when I gave you the 1 in 2,000, the 1 in 500, I said that this is like, I'm rounding because I want to be accurate, that's not how nature works. So when they pass a law that says a woman who's 42 weeks has to not be delivered by a midwife, why? Midwives are quite capable of assessing a baby's well-being. They're quite capable of ordering biophysical profiles and NSTs if they even need to. The standard is to do them at 42 weeks, so fine, we do them. But there may be reasons not to do them either, but I don't want to be that radical, so let's just stay within those boundaries. But if the testing at 41 weeks and 6 days shows a biophysical profile of 10 out of 10, then the likelihood that anything's going to happen bad to that baby for the next 3 to 4 days is less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
So why do they have to abandon their client?
Yeah.
Is that good medicine? Is that what's best for the women of California? No. They just did it because they think that they're the only arbiters of safety. And that obviously midwives and women who are pregnant don't know anything and don't care about the safety of their babies. The same thing happens in the hospital. You'll see that the hospital thinks of your baby as their baby when you give birth in a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And because they don't think that you're competent, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't. And it's not because they're not good people. It's because the system morphs them into robotic people. Because all these people are loving, caring people on their own. Not all of them. I guess there's jerks everywhere, but for the most part, they're all great people. But the system makes them into bad people. Nobody goes to, people go to law school. They go, they're idealistic. They go to law school. They come out and they become creepy lawyers. All right. How does that happen? These are good people. It's the same thing with politicians.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to Washington with great intentions and they leave 25 years later, multimillionaires, and never got anything done.
Yeah.
Sometimes the system beats them up. And that's what happens in a hospital setting.